Hello YouTube, this is Mr. Fuzzy Panda with a Black Ops commentary, and from the title you're probably wondering, did you really walk on fire? Or are you bullshitting us? And the truth is I'm not, because I actually did walk on fire. And so how this all came to is like I didn't decide one day just grab a bunch of freaking searing hot coals and put on my backyard and start walking through them. No, I didn't do that. I actually went to a Tony Robbins seminar in Chicago, and my dad brought me there. And at first I thought, this is gonna be stupid. This guy is full of crap. And then I decided to go because my dad was willing to miss 3 days of work just to bring me over there and stay with me. So I figured it was a pretty big deal if he was willing to do that. And oh my god. So I went, and you would think that the fire walk would be on the last day of like a 4-day seminar, right? It was actually on the first day, so I started freaking out a little bit, like, what? This doesn't make any sense, right? So we started like 8:15 a.m. and then we actually did the actual fire. Oh wow, that was cool. We actually did the actual fire walk at like 11 o'clock. Okay, so by the time I was pretty tired and exhausted, and he was walking us through it, he said, just don't think about the cold. The worst thing that could happen is seared bloody stubs. It's like, Jesus Christ, you're not helping at all. So, you're supposed to say like a phrase or something while you're walking the fire, so your mind can't tell you can't do it, or something like that. And it worked, right? And the coals were 1200 degrees to something like what was it? It was like 2000 degrees, and my mom's phone's going off. So yeah, enjoy it. And then we were about to go there, and while we're walking out of the convention center, I see this pile of flaming wood, and the fire's just going up like 10 feet. It's like, no freaking way, I'm not gonna walk on that. And it turns out, nobody's gonna walk on that. That's just how they get their coals from, right? So you got these little, long patches of, the fresh coals, and they're straight off of that fire pit, and then they got 24 lanes of it because 3,800 people attended this event, and these patches are like 10 feet long, and that seems a little short, right? But like when you get there, you're looking at it, you're like, oh shit. Right? So the people in front of me were going, I'm waiting my turn. I was like, yeah, I think I can do this. I think I can do this, right? And then I get up there, and then I was about to go, right? And this lady stands in front of me, who's a crew member, and she stands in front of me. I was like, what the heck? She's like, look up. I'm like, okay, I look up, and all of a sudden in my peripheral vision, I see this guy with a huge shovel, working on a wheelbarrow, and then guess what's in that shovel? New coals, and he puts them right on that patch. And I start freaking out because like, no way, that's completely fresh. I can see the smoke coming off of it. I was like, oh my god, no, right? And I was getting really scared. And then you're supposed to make your move, and making your move is getting yourself pumped up so you don't freak out, right, and pussy out. And I did my move. I was ready to go. I was about to take the first step. I was like, shit. So I just stopped. I backed off. Okay. I continued to do this until everybody else went. I kept getting scared because I was afraid I was gonna burn myself. So then I was like, I'm not. Oh, that's my phone. I'm just not gonna do this, man. I mean, it's not worth it. And then you know what? I realized my dad brought me all the way over here. He spent $1,000 on the ticket. And if I come home with not walking on that, and if he can't tell his friends that I went on and I just pussied out, how bad would that make him feel? I mean, his oldest son cannot even do it. When they're like, oh god, I was just owning here. When they're like, grandma's doing it. So I mean, I hear Tony Robbins on the mic. He's like, 30-second left, guys. This is your last chance. Then we're gonna pull off the Coles. I'm like, oh my god, am I gonna do it? Am I gonna do it? So I just stepped up. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. Okay, I'm gonna do it. And I just walked across. I felt nothing. Okay, you look up and then you just say cool Moss, because studies show that if you say something like that, you know, it transfers to your feet and you actually feel cool Moss, I guess. And you know, truth is, like, I kind of actually did, because I didn't feel anything, but you know, I was just going so fast. I was so in the moment. It was like so fast, and I didn't even feel like any of the Coles, right? And what they do is, you know, while you're walking across, they have two people at the end of the stretch to catch you, because most people can't see when they're looking up that high. And they caught me, and I kept walking because I thought I was still on the Coles. I was like, fuck no, I'm not getting burnt. And I realized I was done. I was like, that's it. And then they wash out my feet with a hose so I don't, you know, burn my feet afterwards. I was like, Jesus Christ, I did it. I did it. And I was the last one to go in the night. I was like, oh, I can't believe I did that. And you know, the lady that sends you, you know, there's one person per each lane that gets you pumped up and sends you onto your walk, right? And you know, this lady was like, she looked very cold, very mean, and then she was like yelling at me. She's like, go now, you know, she's being really bossy. I was like, at first I was like, bitch, right? And then I thought about it and I realized, you know what, there's a reason why she's acting like that. And it's probably for me to, you know, go and not, you know, pussy out. So I understood. I didn't get mad at her. And then, you know, then I figured out that my dad talked to her after that. You know, my dad was on, you know, Tony Robbins' crew, and they don't get paid at all. It's completely volunteer, and Tony Robbins doesn't even meet them personally, right? They just have a huge freaking 300-person group picture at the end of the entire seminar. So, so at the end of that night, all the crew members got together, and you know, they're about to leave. That same lady that helped me get across, that pushed me, because that one pushing factor, she said, you're a man, you can do this. I was like, oh my god, yeah, you're right. So, you know, at the end of that night, they were talking about, you know, about their day, and then she told a story about this one guy who was so scared and couldn't go across, and he finally went across, and she was so proud of him. And my dad said, you know, that's my son, thank you so much. Right, up till that point, my dad didn't really like her because, you know, she was so cold and defensive and mean. And then, as soon as he said that, she just opened up to him, and you know, her story was very, very painful and amazing. Okay? The story was, when she was 14, her parents divorced, okay? And then her mom decided to leave her. So then she was put for adoption, and she was adopted by this guy. And then, but this guy was horrible because he was abusing her physically, mentally, and then raped her. And she got pregnant because she got raped. So, you know, of course she can't abort the baby, and she can't leave the guy because of the baby. And then when she finally gave birth, at 15 years old, she gave birth to a child. And the horrible thing was that that man, you know, killed that baby and ripped out one of its eyeballs. Okay? That is just horrible. And what she did, her dad was a policeman, and she went into his office and took a gun from his drawer and shot the man dead. And she was put up for trial and everything, but she wasn't pled guilty. She wasn't guilty, you know. And then she went into depression. She was considering suicide, and she was flipping through channels, and through every channel she kept cutting herself, right? And she was about to make that one last cut that would kill her, you know, that artery. And then, you know, something miraculous happens, and then Tony Robbins showed up, and she decided to live on and go on to his seminar. So, you know, that's my story, and if you guys want more of that, I'll tell you more. So, thanks for watching, and subscribe for more. See ya.